Okay, we're on.
Good.
Hello, everyone. This is Sophie from Bridal Potero, and we have Robin from White Mountain Dreaming. And there are no one showed up for the live stream. I'm so sad. But that's okay. You'll watch the reruns, right? Today we're going to read about the US and Canada because it's Canada Day tomorrow and Independence Day on Sunday.
Mhm.
And so we're going to do that. And we have a list of questions here. And hopefully people are going to join us as we go on. I hope so. Um, we never have a lot of there's one person that just showed up. Hello. No? Okay. Well, if you watch us later on, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to visit Robin's channel at White Mountain Dreaming on YouTube. So, Robin, hi, Sharon. How are you doing? Thank you for coming, Sharon. That's very nice of you. So, Robin, where do we start? Canada or the US?
Let's start with Canada because they have their Independence Day is July 1st. So let's
That's a
start.
good idea. So, the state of Canada at this time. Right now, when I looked at the news, I saw that Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party has a high um, um, survey results. 38% Liberals is high because we have more than two parties. And satisfaction with Justin was at 52%. That was only one survey, though.
That's
But
better than most leaders, actually.
I'm sorry, that's what most.
That's better than most leaders get.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. I'm just going to turn up the volume a little bit. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune, the Devil, and the Queen of Wands. So our fortune, I think, we've been doing well with COVID. We've been doing well with everything, but I have a sense that it's going to turn a little bit. I feel the economy is going to turn a little bit, and it's in relation with what's happening also in the US, because what happens in the US happens to Canada at a lesser degree. And the queen, the, that's a fire sign. We're not a fire sign. I don't know who the Queen of Wands is, but it has to do the pipeline, our addiction to dark money, the pipeline. We have I would call it the Nord Stream 3 because there's a new agreement about a pipeline. And I think that that's why our luck is going to run out a little bit. I don't see a big major issue, but I think it's going to run out a little bit. Hi, Thelma. And that has to do with the pipeline. What do you think?
I don't know about the pipeline.
There has been talk of a new agreement between Canada and the US about another pipeline that would apparently be safer, would come from Alberta again. So that's why, to me, it's the same
Oh,
difference as the other ones.
that pipeline was going to go through Oregon, and Oregon worked really hard to nix that.
Were they able to?
Yes.
Okay, so that could be what it's related to because Canada is working to export its dirty oil. I call it the dirty oil because it is dirty. It makes people sick. It's you don't want that. You don't want that. They're trying to make a deal and hang on to what they have at the same time. They want it all because they feel that they are in a position to do so. But when I put that with the devil, I feel that they want to hang on to what to what they should not be hanging on to what they need, to what we need. I say they, but it's us. We need to get rid of that uh, uh, of what we are um, addicted to, attached to, because it's not good for us. And we have here the Page of Cups, the Lovers, and decisions to make.
Mm.
So the Lovers comes again with those three cards: the Devil, the Four of Pentacles, and wanting to hang on to what we got. So we're going to make some kind of a deal again to hang on to it. And but there are some things that we're going to have to give up. There are some decisions that we are going to have to make to give up in order to get what we want. And there are going to be some people, some Canadians are going to not be happy about this. I see here the fish coming out to yell at Trudeau. That's how I see that card right now. And French Canadian, most especially, we're good at that. So if we want to make that deal, there's going to be complaints, but we'll need to make some changes to, we'll need to give up some things to, we can't have it all. So that's basically what I see. What do you think?
I'm going to do my reading, but I have actually a story that I think is appropriate for this.
Okay.
But let me do the reading first, because once I'm not Canadian, as you know, but once you went over your reading, my reading makes a lot more sense.
Oh, okay.
So I only pulled 3 cards, but the 3 cards that I pulled were all major arcana, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
The first card is Justice upside down. And with your reading, this makes sense. Like, what is just? What is fair? So when you get caught up in ego and money and all of that, justice, what seems just and right maybe isn't ethically just and right.
Yes. Yes.
The second card is the Wheel of Fortune. So I got it as well, which
Yeah.
makes sense because it's about commerce and it's about moving forward with something. And then the last card that I got was the Magician. So what I get is the Magician can manipulate energy. That's what the Magician does.
Yeah.
And the Magician is usually a very just figure. But if justice is skewed, if you don't know what's right and wrong, the Magician, the energy, the power can be directed in an unjust way.
Yeah.
So here's my story. It's so interesting. So,
sorry, we got Ron on.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ron.
Go ahead.
Okay, so several years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I had a dream. I'm White Mountain dreaming. I have lucid dreams. So this was a very unusual dream where I was walking down the street at night. I get that a lot, that I'm in some city or town. And I was trying to find my bed and breakfast, or my Airbnb, and I couldn't find it. So I was visiting this town. When I finally found my room, it was like a little cottage. When I finally found the door, there were all these dead salmon in front of the door, and they were rotting because they had been there for a while. Yeah, it was awful. And so I was just wondering, like, what was going on. And so I heard, in a dream, you sometimes have a narrator in there. So the narrator of my dream said, in 20 years, the salmon will be completely gone. And Oregon has salmon. It's very well known for its salmon. The whole Pacific Northwest is known for salmon.
Yeah.
Okay, so I woke up completely confused. So that night, I was in a focus group. So every so often, I go to focus groups where they ask for your opinion and they give you like $100 for your opinion. None of us knew what the focus group was about. But after about 30 minutes of talking, it was about the pipeline.
Oh.
And I am, as I told Sophie, I'm part Native American. And I suddenly got really, really upset and I stopped the focus group. So it was Spirit talking through me. I hardly ever do that, but Spirit was talking through me. And I basically told the whole group that dream. And I was the only Indigenous person in the focus group, but everybody stopped and they said, you're right. I have to get the door. So
Okay.
so luckily the pipeline was stopped soon after that.
Robin has some people coming to repair her air conditioning. So we kind of expected it. Hi, Carl.
So please, right here.
So hopefully things are still going to run okay, but if not, she might need to drop out. But we have already ready questions. If you guys have more questions about the US and Canada, please, please, please let us know. Oh, we're going for a visit.
I can do this outside.
Isn't it too hot?
Not yet.
No? Okay. So, yes, she was meant to be in that focus group. I totally agree. Totally agree. Oh my. The thing is, I want Alberta to be successful, but the oil there is not very, it's highly polluted and it's not very good. So, yeah. So, Salma was saying that you were meant to be in that focus group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know what the dream was about until then. And actually, the focus group ended right after that because it was being filmed. And I looked straight into the camera and I said, because the head honchos were in the next room just watching. So I said, I'd love for you to come in and we can talk about this. And then we heard chairs moving and people scurrying out of the next room. and then the moderator said, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And when he came back, he just handed everybody the money and asked them to leave.
oh my God.
But
Cool.
the pipeline was going to go to Coos Bay, which is on the coast. And it would have gone through some of the main waterways that salmon would run to. And so it was going to go through Eastern Oregon, which is a highly wooded place, not very populated. But if the pipe burst, it would completely pollute that area. So that's what the salmon were about. And the Airbnb that I was at was on the coast. So that's what that was.
Okay. Hi, JR. You know, I think that Canada is pushing a lot the pipeline because apparently there are some um, big savings to be had. I don't know whether or not it's true, but I know that we had this train that was carrying oil that exploded in Quebec, and it wiped out half a town. It was like what was it called, Ron? Where the train exploded, and
Mm-hmm.
it was in Eastern Township, I think. Anyway, it was a big deal because basically what happened is the train kind of got away
Hmm.
because somebody forgot to put the brakes on, and when it got there, it went boom. So yeah, so there's a lot of that too that I think people are thinking about. Ron may have left. No, maybe not. Whoever, Megantic, yes, Lac Megantic. That's it, Megantic Lake. Yeah. So what about the U.S., the state of the U.S.
For July 4th.
for July 4th?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Whew. Can I start?
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't expecting this, guys. The first card is death. Now, death is not a literal death, especially since the country's not going to die, but it's about transformation, you know, and whenever I see the death card, it means that the transformation is dramatic, the transformation is complete. One door closes so another door can open. So, in terms of the country, to me, it means that the US is at a point where it just has to change, that's all that's left. It's not the tower. The tower is like the explosion. It's literally, we're even past the explosion. We're past what falls. We have fallen apart, and all that is left to do is to restart everything. The second card is the Nine of Swords reversed. And the Nine of Swords upright is about suffering, but it is about a person feeling the suffering of another or others. The typical empath card, right?
Yeah.
When it's reversed, it's about moving past that, like moving past the sadness and the sorrow, which makes perfect sense next to the death card. But then the last card is the Ten of Swords reversed. So the Ten of Swords upright is just being trapped and unable to move and unable to do anything. The figure's not even dead. It's just the figure is unable to move, because if they move in any direction, they will perish.
Down, yeah.
So when it's upside down, it means that the swords have fallen off the person and the person is now able to move. So that makes perfect sense. If you start with the death card, the other two cards make sense. So what I'm getting is the country is in such crisis that it's simply going to have to change.
That's what I get too. There is some success there. If you move past away from the illusion delusion and the man who would be king, who wanted to be king and is not. So you have to walk. Normally, I would say you have to walk away, but in the positioning of the cards, sorry, this guy is moving towards the magician. The magician has everything he needs to succeed. And if you do that, because the US has everything they need to succeed, change will occur successfully because this 8 is under the Sun card, and it will occur successfully and quicker than we thought. So it's time to, what I see is time to make a move. Be the fool, but don't be foolish. Think first. And the world is yours. Those were nice cards. Very nice cards. So there isn't a possibility there for the US to move on. And hi, Cheryl. And thank you guys for joining us. And I think that it will have to be with the political unrest that is happening right now, because there is some political unrest in the US with the Trump family. Once that is done, then people will finally see what he's what he is, and they'll move past that, and maybe the United States will be more united. So, yeah, that'd be nice. That would be very, very nice. So, one of the things that I wanted to ask was, in the US, there is a bill right now about China doing some targeted. I'm sorry, I started looking for my words again.
Targeting with the CEO.
Yeah, well, there was a CEO, but sanctions,
Okay.
and trying to get their allies together so that we can all be together and put sanctions on China. My question is, in that bill, there's something about Canada because they're wondering where Canada stands on China. And personally, I think that we're doing a lot of things. I'm just wondering what else is. It is a nice necklace, isn't it, Cheryl?
Thank you.
What else is? What else are they looking for from Canada? So, what else is U.S. Congress looking for from Canada as it pertains to China and the sanctions? We have two people who are, in my book, held hostage there. We have um, the CEO from Huawei that is probably going to get extradited to the US, more than likely. We've been suffering sanctions on meat, canola, and soy. So, but we're not. Ron, I don't know if you're still there. If you are, I don't think that we're putting that much sanction on China. I haven't seen much. So, what is the US looking for?
May I start? Because it's a very fast read. Yours will be more detailed. But I got the Page of Cups reversed. I've got Death reversed. It's funny, ironic. But then I've got the Fool. So the fast read is that the U.S. is just trying to keep it together enough so that they can get what they need and they can move forward on the deal. And so they are just trying to keep the peace. They know that so much of this is wrong and that, China is, as we mentioned before, has a lot of issues. They're very corrupt. They're also very powerful. So they want to get, the Fool to me is like they want to get what they need and they wanted to keep it together long enough so they can get what they need.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good, yeah. Well, I only have three cards as well. I have the Three of Pentacles. To me, that is some working as a team, but with a leader, someone who's directing them, which is basically the role the U.S. is taking very often. With the Wheel of Fortune, I don't see the Wheel of Fortune as fate turning or anything like that. I see the Wheel of Fortune as I hear the word fortune cookies. Basically, the US is sending a fortune cookie to Canada, and they're saying to Canadians, you need to leave. You need to make a move. I don't know if the Canadians are going to listen to that or not, but that's basically how I'm reading it. They're telling him, you need to move voluntarily. You need to move, and Canada is feeling pushed into that direction. Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting. We look at Canada and the US and we're thinking everything is really fine. There never is any issues between those two countries. But as I was researching, there are some. There are some, but they are being discussed and they are being worked on together as opposed to, having fights and issues, I think. I don't know. What's your perspective on this?
I mean, there's so much back room. Um,
that we are not aware of. Yeah.
exactly. And I know that this isn't something I know a lot about, which is actually okay, because I'm
Yes.
doing cards. Um, but okay. So there is the Queen of Cups, if it's not a particular person, because we're talking about a country, is about the dreamer, about manifesting dreams.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting is that both sides have this agenda. Both sides have this thing they want to manifest.
Yeah.
And both neither side is telling the other what it is.
Yeah.
And so that's the push and pull, because I feel that China's holding everything very close to their chest. They're not going to let on what they really want, what they really need. Because China does need, this. China makes a lot of things, but China also needs a lot of. I know that in the U.S., China buys a lot of U.S. crops, and when there was the big hoo-ha during the last administration, the farmers really suffered. So there is the symbiotic relationship with both countries. They really need each other, and I would imagine that for Canada it is the same, but neither one wants to admit it.
No. I see here. To me, this is Justin. No, it's Justin. Justin. I was trying to say it in Franglish. Sometimes he moves without really thinking things through. But the emotions, like you, I got the Queen of Cups. There's a lot of emotions between our two countries
Mm-hmm.
and the attachment, but there is still going to be a change. And I feel that is also not only pertaining to China, but also to COVID. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. We haven't talked about the COVID issue in China. I don't know how it is in Canada, but there's a whole subculture here in the US that blames, China for the virus. And there's been a lot of Asian American hate crimes being done. So that has to be part of this underlying tension with the negotiations. I'm not
yeah.
sure how much of that has happened in Canada. Have you had a lot of violence?
Well, I think that it's not happening as much here as it is in the U.S. because I don't know how to put it other than Canada's racism issues is under a blanket. It's not going to be in your face. So we deal with it differently, and the issue is different. It's there. It's there, but it's different, I think, and it's a cultural thing. So I don't think that we're seeing any of that here. But I do believe that we are blaming China for this. Their lack of transparencies and their lack of action. Have they apologized for any of this? No, not
No,
that I know of.
no.
So, yeah. So, talking about COVID, July 5th, we're supposed to open our borders to essential traveling for people who are fully vaccinated. You need to go?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something.
no,
So, is
I'm
that?
outside. It's going to be very noisy, but I don't
Oh,
need to
okay.
go.
I thought I heard a beep or something. So, is that still going to be a go? Are we still opening our borders to the US for vaccinated people and essential travel? Kamloops at all in the US show? Is that the building that fell? No, I don't know. What is Kamloops about? Go ahead if you're ready.
The answer is, well, I mean, it's set to open on July 5th, so I think it still will. I don't think that's going to change, but I get kind of a no. Um, I get the Nine of Swords again, and then I get the King of Swords. So this is the fair and just leader. And then I get the Six of Pentacles. So I think they're going to realize that they have to put the brakes on it a little bit. That they're going to be overwhelmed by people coming in. That's what I get, and they're going to have to put the brakes on things, and that's going to cause a lot of sorrow because I know you said it was for essential travel. What I'm getting is that people have been really dying to see. Sorry, pardon the pun. Dying to see their family members, and I think they're not gonna close the borders, but they're going to start putting restrictions on the number of people per day who can come in, or the number of you know. There's going to be some restrictions. That's what I get.
Well, I got kind of the same. My Wheel of Fortune is in the yes but position, but I got for in the yes position, it's moving towards opening the borders would be somewhat foolish, and it would be somewhat there would be some danger there associated with it, I think. So the King of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune in the yes, but we need more to happen position. And I think that the King of Wands is leading the charge and saying we need to be more prepared. We need to have a better plan for this. Because right now we are in an iffy situation with we are no longer in quarantine, but you know we like our freedom type of thing. We don't want to go back into that. So there are no illusions about this. And got the Queen of Sword again. Queen of Sword is in the no position, so we may. I think that we will reopen the borders, but very, 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 very little, and it's going to be a very slow process. So I don't know what's happening on July 5th, but
I
I don't
feel
think much is going to be there.
I feel
Yeah.
that they're going to be overwhelmed by the number of people who want to travel to Canada on the 5th, and they're going to realize that they can't handle it. They can't handle that number of people right off the bat.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by restrictions. I feel like they're going to have quotas on the number of people that can come in at any given time, because it's not just like letting them in across the border. There's a lot of ramifications.
Yes.
Even if they are, I know that the guidelines is they have to be vaccinated and they have to be an essential reason why they're there. But I think that they're going to be really surprised as to the number of people that are going to travel at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and I don't think that at the border they're going to use a good faith method to let people in. Yes, I've been vaccinated. I've had my 2 vaccines, and you're ready to go. No, they're going to ask for proof. I know in Quebec we have the QR codes that we're starting to put in place, and I'm going to, as soon as you receive your second vaccine, the process begins for you to get your QR code, and you can carry it on your phone.
We have
So
that
yeah.
too. We have our cards, but they're also going to, sorry, it's just going to be noisy. We also are talking about, the US is talking about like a vaccine passport, like something unofficial,
Here
almost like
too, yeah.
a driver's license or an ID card that like lists that you have your vaccine. I have
Yeah.
my vaccine card in my wallet because I feel like, a lot of people ask me questions about COVID if I go into certain, businesses or if I go into a clinic. And so it's a lot easier if I just give them my card.
Yeah, we don't have cards, but we're talking about it. We're talking about it. Yeah.
It's a big deal. And if you lose your card, it's a big deal. I mean, you can get a replacement, but all of the vaccines are tracked here. and so I have a tracking number. I
Okay.
and That's what the cards are. They have the tracking numbers so that if somebody has a question, like a healthcare professional, it's in my records, but they can also look it up using the tracking number.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have that on our Medicare cards here in
Yes.
Quebec. I don't know the other provinces. Now, Cheryl was asking about Kamloops. I'm sorry, Cheryl. I never remember that the place where they found the mass grave was in Kamloops, British Columbia, Chesapeake, British Columbia. From what I understand, in the U.S., they do know about it. And I've read that Canada is opening its investigation to the Americans so that the Americans can verify, but also eventually they may decide to do the investigation themselves. But Robin, you know more about it from the American side.
So it was quite a shock when Canada reported the mass graves. It wasn't a shock to the Native American people, but the U.S. so far is just starting to think about an excavation process in some of these sites where the Indian schools were.
Yeah.
Um, but it's so scary for, I think, Americans to face this truth. And I know that a lot of the Native American groups, the advocacy groups, are saying, like, however many graves that they find in Canada, it will pale by comparison to the graves that they find in the US. That it is huge, and that is what's scaring everybody, because Americans are really good at not facing the truth, especially
The
their truth
past.
about violence
Yeah.
and genocide and discrimination. And yeah, it is something that a lot of people, actually younger people, because I'm not a spring chicken, but don't necessarily get taught in schools anymore. Like, I know that the Tulsa massacre, most Americans, myself included, did not know about it until
No,
recently.
yeah, me neither. Yeah, I know.
I'm going to move again.
No problem. Cheryl, I agreed that we did have the same problem happening in the deaf culture. And in Quebec City, we have a hospital. It's the oldest mental health hospital in North America. It's called, well, Saint Michel Archange originally, Saint Michael the Archangel, but it was run by nuns. And I bet you anything, if they were to dig on the grounds of that hospital, we would find hundreds of people because we had what we now call the Duplessis children. They were orphans that were put in that hospital, that mental health hospital, and they were kept there for 18 years or even longer.
Yes.
And eventually they developed themselves mental health issues because of that.
Yes.
Oh, that was in the from the 30s to the 50s.
Hmm.
Yeah, a
They
lot
did,
of people there disappeared.
they did that here too.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, because for a number of reasons, it didn't even have to be racial. If people were developmentally disabled, they were basically put away.
yeah,
And um, the Kennedys, John F. Kennedy's family, had
yeah,
a sibling. They had a sibling, and Rose Kennedy had a daughter that basically they institutionalized her just because she was developmentally disabled, and she stayed there her entire life.
yeah. Well, the can't remember what his name was. I think might have been Joseph Kennedy.
Mm-hmm. The father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got his daughter to have a lobotomy without even telling his
Yes.
wife.
Yes.
And the lobotomy, as expected, went horribly, horribly wrong. And although she might have been intellectually challenged, she was still having some quality of life,
Yes.
but she was just vegetating from then on.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's very sad. Yeah. Okay.
Let's
We
not do a downer. Let's do an uplifting question, please.
Yes, yes. Let's see here. Let's see. Next question that we can do, because we were going to go towards the fires.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. All right,
um,
let's end on a happy note. Think of a happy question to end with, okay? But let's do
okay,
the
yes,
fires really quick. So for everybody, don't know where you guys are, but the West is on fire. I live in Southern Oregon, and about one to 1.5 hours south of me in Northern California, there is a 14,000 acre fire that is out of control because it's in a densely wooded area. Not densely populated, thank goodness, but it's very hard to stop this fire just because of where it is. And the winds are gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour, so it's fueling this fire. This is one of many fires that we're going to have over the summer. So that's why Sophie kind of put it as a question. Um, okay, background.
yes. I'm still here. I'm sorry. Can you see me? Did I disappear from the screen?
No.
Okay. Yeah. The question that we had was there was about fireworks.
Oh, fireworks. Okay, yes. Yes, about the 4th of July fireworks.
Yeah, people. So we had people are, in spite of all that happening, there are people who still want to have. Hi, Memutu. We have people that still want to have a fireworks on the 4th of July, because fireworks is very important on the 4th of July. So there's a lot of danger associated with that, and a lot of town councils are meeting, and they're looking at, what they can do about this. Where is that going to go? Are we still going to have, is are Americans still going to have their um, fireworks in July, on the 4th of July, especially as it pertains to Oregon and the fires, the West Coast in general? What'd you get?
I Yeah, we need to talk about this. I got the sun. That kind of makes sense. Illumination, but also the sun is, a fiery star, so that would make sense. Then I got the nine of wands, which is about a defensive posture, getting ready for the fight, the next fight, and I got death again. You tell me.
I got the knight that goes nowhere fast. And in this case, usually it's because he's working at something, but right now he's going nowhere fast. And the fool is coming, being foolish. So there is going to be a crossroad. I think that it's going to end up with, you do the fireworks, you're coming to a crossroad. Where are you going to do them? Over water, or, you know, you need to choose the fireworks and the fires, or I I I don't know that, at the bottom of the pack, the Hierophant.
Mm-hmm.
There might be regulations in the
Mm-hmm.
end.
Mm-hmm. And
There
I,
might be regulations in the
yep,
the Nine of Wands.
yeah,
Yeah,
which means there's going to be a fight about it. That's what I get.
yeah,
But these two are kind
yeah.
of very interesting right next to each other because one is light, illumination, the sun, and the other one is darkness. I mean, death is darkness.
And
All
it goes with my Two of Swords, where basically you have a choice to make. Yeah, yeah. Has anyone thought of a funny question to ask?
please.
Please, please, please. Let me check something. Um, oh, I got one.
Okay.
It's not in here. It's in a country in Africa.
Okay.
There was a man, a news anchor, that was saying the news and then said, "Oh, by the way, we haven't been paid in a very long time." And I'm not just talking about me, but all my coworkers. The station has not paid us. Where is that going to go? Are there many more people like that haven't been paid and they're just going to, no. Are there many more newscasters who are going to come out with weird announcement like that on the news? And what kind of announcement would those be? Hmm. What do you get?
I got 4 cards. I only do 3 card pulls, but a fourth card demanded it come out. So,
Okay.
so I started with the 10 of Cups reverse, which makes sense. I would be very unhappy. Upright, it's about the happy family. So I mean, finances affect not just that person, but their family and their extended family. It's a it's a domino
Yeah.
effect. So it's not just about the newscaster; it's about everybody around the newscaster. Um, this is the card of what is it? Like remembrance. I forget what the name of the card is, but in this particular
Six of
case,
Cups.
6 of Cups. What I'm
Nostalgia.
what I'm getting from it is that it's about it's about the care. It's about a teacher and a student, or an older sibling and a younger sibling, but it's all about care and remembrance and what is it?
Melancholy. Melancholy. No.
No, it's about remembering one's childhood. I'm totally blanking on the word, but in this case, I think it's about caring for one another
Okay.
and about realizing that we have to care for one another. Um, but on the other hand, I get the Knight of Swords. So it's like, okay, we're unhappy because we're not paid. Our family is affected. We need to care about each other. And this is kind of like the sword of righteousness, like righteous indignation, being angry enough that you just kind of move forward. But the problem about the Knight of Swords, sorry, is that his sword, it's one of 2 cards in the tarot where the sword is cut off. The top of the sword isn't present in the image. And what that means is it's kind of a reckless move.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily someone thinking they're reckless. It's just they didn't think it through. So it may not work. However, we have the Great Mother. That was the card that like demanded to come out, was the Empress. So I think that the Great Mother is going to intervene. In other words, as angry as they are for not getting paid, and I'm sure they've had like many discussions with whoever's not paying them. I think that's what the Knight of Swords is all about. In the end, it's going to be about family.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like our families are struggling. We don't have enough to eat. It's not just about the money. It's about the fact that we're starving.
Yeah.
And that will be the thing that turns it around.
Yeah. The question. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say that the Empress, she's surrounded by nature. She's surrounded by crops. Her gown has, I believe, watermelons on it. So it's all about nourishment. So that's what I feel like. These people can't eat. So how can you be a newscaster and present yourself, to the world or to the country when you can't eat, when you don't have anything in your belly?
Yeah. Well, I asked the question, are there any other newscasters who are going to come out with something like that, whether it's not getting paid or something else? I got the Queen of Sword, so the truth is going to come out. The Queen of Sword is can be a very cold person and but demands justice and balance. The networks are going to make sure that they um, look after their employees to avoid this as much as possible. They're going to make deals. And I think that a new renewal is going to come out of this because of this incident is not, I'm sure, an isolated incident. It's just one of many.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it is, as more and more people come out to just say, hey, I haven't been paid, the networks are going to say, oh, we better pay them and we better take care of our employees. And that's going to bring a renewal. Yeah.
I like the fact that you got the 2 and the 1 of cups. That's very promising. I think they realize that if they don't do it, like they have a platform, they are newscasters,
Yeah.
So
they might get fired by doing this. Do you need to move again?
No.
No. They might get fired.
It's just a very, very large, strange looking truck in front of my house. I'm sorry, guys. This is my life right now. Like everything I plan just goes amok and I have no control over it.
As long as we're having fun, that's okay.
I'm having fun.
Visit
I
your
really enjoy
apartment.
this. I hope you guys are okay with this. Oh, it's a mega truck. Oh, it's trying to turn is what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it's having difficulty because the truck with my everybody, my AC died in the middle of this heat wave. And I have a really good management company where I live. And so they are replacing the AC unit, but there's trucks in front of me. There's people all around me. It's pandemonium. You just don't see it. It's all off screen.
That's it. That's it. But that's okay. I mean, you should have seen what happened to me on Monday evening when my neighbor knocked on the floor and I was carrying my laptop around in the dark and then looking for my bird in the dark. So people got to visit my apartment along with me. That's nice. We have to go with the flow.
I tell people constantly we are living in extraordinary times. And I mean that in every sense of the word. We've got COVID, people are working from home. But just everything that can go wrong does go wrong. You just got to roll with it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Try to find humor in it. Try to find humor in it. So I guess, do you have any other questions, Robin? Is there something that we missed?
We can just do a general reading about our respective countries, like
Okay.
What we need to look out for in general.
Yes.
We can end with that. Hopefully there'll be some good news in that one.
General reading on, you do the US, I do Canada?
Yes, let's do
Okay.
that. I'll do a longer spread too.
Okay. We're going to have elections.
Are you planning on having elections in Canada? Is it scheduled?
Not scheduled.
Really? Are they going to recall the prime minister?
Well, what we do is and that usually happens around budget time, the parliament has a vote of no confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, within 8 weeks, we have an election of
Mm-hmm.
that vote of no confidence. So that used to happen more often than it does now, but it now it's more stable and it's scheduled for the 16th of October 2023.
Okay.
But I think we're going to have elections before that.
So that would only happen with a vote of no confidence.
Right. The truth is going to come out about something that is going to put our dear friend Justin in a difficult situation because he was a fool, and we'll get towards a transition,
Yeah.
a difficult one at that. It has to do with money, but it could have something to do with the virus as well.
He's made some backdoor deals, backroom deals. Sorry, not backdoor.
Yes,
I'll
he
say
has.
everything wrong, guys. Just bear with me. I got that when you pulled up the cards. It's like he's made a bunch of deals that nobody knows about, and they're going to backfire on him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's going to try to do what he's done before, like offering us candies. I don't know that it's going to work because we got the death card, which is a transition.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to put us in a situation where we're going to be embattled. No, we're not having a revolution. We're not going to war or anything like that. We're going to be embattled. We're going to have heated political discussions, but we have a good foundation as well that is preventing us from getting to that point. And choices will need to be made. And this is the star card, but I see this also as a temperance card right now. So our wishes are going to be granted, but you'll need to you'll need to take some and leave some. You'll need to be reasonable about everything. So that's basically what I see. Things are going to come out about Trudeau, and we're going to go to an election.
It's interesting. My final card is the star card too.
Oh, really?
And the political readers use the star card to represent the United States. But I think in this particular instance, we can use the star card to represent democracy.
Oh,
Our country is a
yes.
democracy.
Yes.
So that democracy wins. You know, the people win. Speaking
Yeah.
about the U.S., you know, the U.S. has a constitution. It has a lot of documents that have stood the test of time. And in the end, no matter how corrupt things get, so long as you go back to the original documents and follow the philosophy that is behind those documents, and I'm sure this is true in Canada as well, you
Yeah.
can't go wrong. If you go back to that, you can't go wrong. So I think that's what that card is representing.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. I like that.
So mine
Absolutely.
started with the Chariot, which is about moving forward and only forward, not backwards, not sideways, just forward. The challenge is the Six of Swords, which is about getting past a difficult time, which is what we're going through right now, a very
Yeah.
difficult time, especially with COVID. Feeling trapped and not very happy. In the immediate past, we were waiting for things to happen. We were planting the seeds and waiting for things to happen. Sorry. And I think what's happened is what's occurring is that those seeds aren't blooming. Like the seeds that we planted, the ideas we had didn't work out. And that's why we feel trapped. And that's why we're not happy because we don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
And this is the card of the thief. So again, there is something that isn't being told or shared, and someone tried to get away with something. So in terms of the country, we are just starting to learn the details of the last administration. and all those backroom deals. They're just starting to come to light now, at least
Yeah,
the American people. I'm sure that some people have known about it, but maybe this has really undermined a lot of our recovery because of what was happening behind the scenes.
yeah,
Um, this is in the placement of the person. I actually take this to be the current president. Um, the thing about the King of Swords is he's very just. He's an intellectual, but the sword is leaning, which means he's weary. And I think that, our president is just really overwhelmed and weary about all the things that have to get done. It's like one thing after another. And the fact that in the last 4 years, not much was done at all. So there's that, trying to catch up with that. And then all of the disasters that are currently happening in the US and all over the world.
yeah.
It's like he's not getting a break right now.
No, he's not. I think no.
No. The environment is the hermit reversed. And I think in this particular reading, the hermit reversed is that we cannot just go under the covers anymore. We can't just be isolationists. We
No.
have to look at the global picture, all of us.
Yeah,
And for Americans, that's really hard because we're very egotistical people, and it's all about me, me, me. And
yeah,
and we have a really hard time even paying attention to world events. Quick sidebar. Almost everyone I know, I'm a news junkie. I'm less so now because as I've become more empathic, I'm just too sensitive to certain things. But I do stay on top of the news. I always make sure that I know what's going on, give or take a day. Everyone I know refuses to watch the news. And I don't mean like 24 hours in front of CNN. I'm talking about like the nightly news that's 22 minutes long.
yeah,
They don't want to know. Like the building that collapsed in Florida, they don't want to know. They don't want me to talk about it. They don't want to have any kind of updates. They literally are crawling under rocks.
yeah.
And we live in a world now that you can't do that anymore.
Unfortunately, no.
But that is the current psyche in America, and it's not working. And it's not
No.
going to work. And they're going to be rudely awakened very soon. Hopes and fears. The Page of Wands upside down. Pages are the students of the deck. And because this page is in the suit of wands, he learns by actions. So it's inaction, crawling under the rock.
Mm.
But the outcome, I got 2 cards for the outcome. It's interesting. One of which was the star, which I just talked about. And the other, which is the 2 of Pentacles. So a decision's going to have to be made. Our current president, come on in. Our current president is a very global person and is making all sorts of deals, with other countries. And because he's so well known internationally, the other countries are welcoming him in, because they know his reputation. But he's going to have to pull the American people along with that because the American people are not global beings.
Yeah,
So that's what I see for the US.
yeah. That's. I think that the U.S. needs to cleanse from Trump, like Canada will need to cleanse from Trudeau. We, after a while, too much of one thing, depending if it's good or bad, is too much. So I think that, well, personally, I'm a liberal, but I don't like Trudeau. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, yeah,
One always has to suspect when there's a charismatic leader. It's so easy to get behind a charismatic leader. And so when you do that, you kind of don't see the tarnish around the globe.
no,
True with anybody. I'm not just talking about Trudeau. That's true about anybody. Like Kennedy was like that.
yeah,
Reagan was like that. We choose not to see the negative part, but we're human beings. There's always a light and a dark.
Yeah. My aunt voted for Trudeau because he looked good. So, it's hi Terry. We're just about to wrap up, but there are always the reruns.
And you get to see me moving around my entire house. And
Yeah.
yeah.
We got to visit a tour. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And we'll be back next week with another happy humpback day. And we'll let you know what the topic will be about. If you have suggestions, please let us know. We'd be happy to hear them. And sorry, Terry, we're leaving. And so we'll see you again next week.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye bye.